Hi. Good evening, everyone. That was interesting. Okay, we're here. It blanked out. Good evening and welcome to our Monday evening community call. Gregory, you want to say hello?
Hello.
We get together every Monday night, casually, as you can tell, as a community to share updates and celebrate you and do some training and go through our newsletter. And so tonight it's springtime. So I'm going to let Gregory start things out, and he's going to turn it back to me, and onward we go.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Robin, and good evening, everyone. And it is springtime, and it's springtime in the Rockies. If you've never been in the Rocky Mountains states for springtime, it's a sight to behold because everything is turning from white, all covered with snow, which is also very beautiful, but now green and flower blossoms everywhere. Sky is blue, big white puffy clouds, intermittent rain that keeps things green and growing. It's really a sight to behold. And, it's springtime in LifeWave. And so we wanted to talk tonight about springtime and getting out of, and meeting the people. And, our products do so many wonderful things, but they don't have feet to talk, feet to walk, or a mouth to talk. That's our job. Our job is to go out and be the messengers, we like to say, not the message. And, those of us been around for a while and have heard and seen so many wonderful results from these products, we have an awesome sense of responsibility. It's not as much of an opportunity as a responsibility that we get well paid for. So we got a few folks that are going to be sharing with you tonight some ideas to get out of your own house. And sometimes the hardest door to get through is your own, to get out there and start meeting the people. But as the springtime and summer is coming upon us, there's going to be so many different events all throughout the country and the world that you can, go to and meet people and, invite them to learn about our historic breakthrough in affordable stem cell technology. And so, Robin, I think we're going to let you start out because I know we did a lot of that down in Mexico a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
We were the mouth and the feet, and we talked a lot about it. So go ahead.
Yeah. And what Gregory was mentioning is, be ready. Be ready with what? Guess what? Patches. Let the patches do the work, and we're the vehicle. So when we were in Mexico, I had walked up to the pool bar and I see this one of the staff was there, and he was holding his head and he looked like he was in so much pain, and he didn't speak English. I don't speak much Spanish. And I said, "Are you hurting?" He goes, and I said, "Wait a second." And so I went over and asked Jennifer Starr to come over and patch him. And it was amazing what happened. She brought him back to me. I think his name was Connie. I'm not sure, but she brought him back to me with this big, huge smile. And so the message is be aware. When you're out in the world, notice, it's okay to talk to strangers, even though your mom told you maybe it wasn't, but be safe. Always be safe. And you don't need to go to everyone who's hurting because I don't think you want all of them. And some of them aren't ready to change, but this guy certainly was. And he transformed. So always be prepared and always keep your ears and eyes open. It's amazing, when you're standing in line and you hear someone talk about, oh my gosh, I just had this accident. And then, just perk up those ears. Watch with your eyes and see if someone is struggling. I went into a flower store to pick up some flowers for someone, and the woman was like, you could see the pain on her face. I said, "I've got something that might help you. Would you be open to try it?" And she was, and she got instant relief. You just don't know. And so I want to bring on someone that was traveling recently with us. We got to see each other in Tulum, and he's part of our amazing Live Younger community. And many of you know him, especially from the Monday morning calls. And everyone fell in love with this guy. everyone. And he wasn't even going to come until the last minute. So, Michael, would you unmute and would you bring on your camera and share this wonderful story you shared with me the other day? Because it was quite something.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for letting me speak. Robin, you are and Gregory are such a blessing. I was just telling Robin this one story, and I was at the end of the event, where I get into the shuttle from Tulum back to the airport, and I'm sitting next to a lady, Pamela from Salt Lake. I did not see her in the entire event. I don't know why I didn't see her, but she's right there on my seat, and she's talking to me, and she was telling me this story about her mother. And her mother was only using 27% of her heart, you guys. She was the doctors told her there was nothing they could do for her. And she, to get ready to make those final steps, to close the chapter. It was her last chapter. She started using the X39, and in 2 months, she was using over 90% of her heart. 90%. The doctor said they didn't know what was going on. It's impossible. And it's like, wow. It gave me goosebumps all over the place too on that story, because those are so intense, especially when you meet someone hearing that like that. And her mom is in her 90s now, and she's back in Zumba classes. So, I mean, think about that. She was about to die. Now she's back in Zumba classes and using most of her heart again. It was such an incredible story. But, it even goes deeper than this, because, I have a lady that I introduced into this business, and her name is Maureen. And she was talking about one of her people that she had, and it was the exact same symptoms, right? And I said, well, let me tell you a story. And I told her this story because you know what? I don't believe in coincidences. I was meant to hear that story and meet Pamela on that trip so I could tell Maureen, so Maureen could help her friend. And that's what's happening. So you know what? Those are little nuggets. Those are blessings, huge, huge blessings. So it fills my whole body just full of joy and love and light that, you hear these stories and you actually are a part of this whole world. I mean, this, like Robin said, it's the soul family, you guys. It's like, it really hits you in a different way. It really does. So I will shut. I'm done.
And I know, Michael, thank you so much. I know you're always ready because you shared so many other stories with me the other day. We had such a blast hanging out on the phone, and I just kept hearing all these story after story. Let me tell you another one. Michael was ready. And that's the key. Always be prepared. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And so we have someone else who wants to share, but this is a different kind of share, but it's a story about what he observed at being at the event in Sarasota last Saturday. So John Ward, would you like to join us?
And Robin,
Hi,
before John shares about that, he's going to share some just basic spring business building ideas, because he's the healthy networker, and this is what he does with great joy and success. So over to you, John.
Well, and I have to apologize. I didn't see Gregory's text until the last minute. I had to hop in the shower. I'm in my garage for a reason. Our house is in chaos. This is my desk, and we're in a complete remodel that my son and I are doing ourselves. So, and plus I'm working.
Oh my God.
So anyway, in Tampa, there was a regional event in Tampa on Saturday, and I did not see the flyer for it until like Tuesday or Wednesday. And I was doing something and, painting. I don't know what I was doing. I'm going, I need to go to this. I said, I'm just going to have to go to this. So I decided that I needed to have some guests. So I hopped on social media and I put in there friends of mine who live in Tampa. Well, it pulled up a list of about 8. I messaged all 8 of them. And out of those 8, I got one who was moving, but very interested. She's an esthetician. Mm-hmm. I had another gal that was bringing a gal, but we had a bad storm Friday night and she lost her power and air conditioning, so she couldn't come. And I had one other person who just couldn't show up. So all of my commitments decommitted, but I still went. And I still went because, you know, when you're around events, there was 200 people. So that's 200 like-minded people, all life waivers. And Barbara was there. I can't pronounce it right.
Lippincott.
Huh?
Lippincott?
Yeah, she was there. And there was a couple people from Tulum there, and so and Emily was there, and Emily put on the show. But when you're there, you just start getting energized and re-energized and re-energized. And then David came on live and on a Zoom. Guys, if you don't get yourself to the Orlando event, the conference, or at a minimum, get the stream. What he showed us what he's gonna bring as a tease. Now, and he said this won't make any sense to you, and it didn't, but it's coming. But he did let us know that he's progressing into food, biblical food, that he's creating a seed basically that's going to be nutrient dense and, get this, have a reverse aging component. That is remarkable. That's probably 3 years away or longer, but he's got a garden in his lab now. And so, you know, and as far as tips that I would give you, and there were a lot of tips from leaders. There were 7 people on stage that were senior
Presidentials?
Thank you. They were all women, except for 2 guys. They were all women, and they all make huge money, but every single one of them do the same thing. They follow duplication.
Mhm.
And they make it simple, easy, and they do income producing activity every single day. One of them flew all the way from California to be there.
I love it.
And so I would tell you, you know, we have an opportunity here that is, you know, so many people say they want to change the world. This is it, because this will change their health, their wealth, and their family. It'll live on. And it's a very unique opportunity. So I took advantage of it. I made, and the morning that I left, Saturday morning, I made a post, and and as you well know, Robin, I never say X39. I never say LifeWave. I'm a curiosity marketer. And I just made a post, and I found like 12 pictures that I found from testimonials, and I just put them on there. None of them said LifeWave. None of them said what they did. It was just patches. That's all you could see. And I said, I'm going to learn more about our light therapy technology. And I got leads from that. So
Okay. John, the healthy networker, he's back at it, and he's putting himself out there, and Facebook is working.
Facebook is working for me. I mean,
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because, our fastest growing teams, what they're doing is putting themselves in front of numbers of people instead of just one at a time. So if you want to grow fast, give yourself more exposure. And it could be Facebook Lives, it could be meetings, it could be home meetings, it could be Zoom meetings, it could be all kinds of things. So getting out the door, you did it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy for you to do that and in the last minute, but you did it, and it changed you. And
It did.
every time we walk out the door, we never know what amazing things are going to happen or who we're going to meet. So
Yeah.
thank you, John, for being an inspiration as always.
Thank you.
Great,
Yes.
thanks, John.
Yay.
Robin, I'd like to share the story you and I heard yesterday from our friend William in Thailand.
That's an
And,
amazing story. Yeah.
And last Friday, William did a little health fair, and he was one of 6 or 7 booths and 200 doctors.
Why
And
don't
he
you
goes-
tell him where William lives, honey?
He lives in Bangkok. Yeah, in Thailand. Yeah. And anyway, so he had a Lifeway booth set up there, and he was offering people a free stem cell patch, and everybody said yes. And this one big burly guy stops by, and he tries one, and Williams gets into some dialogue with him, and how you doing? Are you in any pain right now? And he goes, always. And he says, on a 1 to 10 scale, what is it? He says 8.5. And he says, oh my gosh, you're always in an 8.5. He says, well, I'm a Kung Fu, master. And a few years ago, I got serious injury in my lower vertebrae, in 2 lower vertebrae. So William says, oh my gosh. He says, well, here's 2 more patches. Go in the restroom, put 1 each on those vertebrae where the pain is, and stop by later. Let me know how you're feeling. He said about an hour later, the guy came by. Here's his big burly 6'3" Kung Fu master with tears coming down his eyes, says, my pain is down to a 2. So, you got to be ready. Always got to be ready, to get out of your door. So go where the people are. And one of the things I want to do is I wanted to share something with everyone, just as a reminder. In our back office, in the Live Younger, not our back office, it's our Live Younger Success Library. Okay, in Live Younger Success Library, if you go to the library section under business training, there's a document there about how to do a home meeting. And maybe it's time to invite some friends over and talk about this historic breakthrough in stem cell. Talks all about the invitation process, preparation, presentation, and even after the meeting, follow-up. Robin and I have done so many home meetings and trade shows. There's 3 parts to a meeting, whether it's in your home or in a trade show or in a hotel. It's preparation, it's execution, and it's follow-up after the meeting. So this is right there. And the other thing you're going to find there, and thank you, Darlene, because she was the nudge that got us to do this. There's a short little 7-minute video. Those of you that watched my intro on Tuesday night, this is my Tuesday night doctor intro, and then it stops. So you can play that in your home, on your big screen TV or on your computer, whatever, and just stop it right there, and then go into testimonials and, talk about the products and do all the things you want to do. So I did want to suggest that, maybe it's in your home, maybe it's a farmer's market, maybe it's someone else's home, maybe it's just a dinner meeting, maybe it's a social, but remember, the products do everything but walk and talk. That's what we get paid for, so be prepared and bring the products with you where you go. So
Do you want to show how to carry the products, or are we going to wait?
oh yeah. You want to do that? So why don't we?
You've got it, honey.
Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to share my screen again and go back to our newsletter. So those of you who've seen the newsletter today, it was a pretty packed newsletter, and we'll come back to tomorrow with Dr. Jeffrey Hubbard. And we'll come back to Thursday and our Monday, but we're really excited that we now have the custom foil insulated pouches to keep your patches cool. And you can carry your patches with you and always be prepared. And this particular sleeve fits several patches. It's a really nice sleeve, and it's foil lined on the inside. So it'll keep your patches cool. I still wouldn't leave them sitting out in the sun, but this really protects them very well from the heat. And you can buy them in batches of 5 for $20 each. And there's discounts for 10 or more, $20 shipping on each order. Like you can order directly from Jenny, and here's her website. Just click on the shop button, select, how many you want. And it might take a couple of weeks to get the product to you. She's shipping them from Hawaii, where she makes them. But I'm really excited that we have these new foil pouches so you can take your patches with you where you go.
And I will also share, there's several ways to take the patches. This particular pouch will fit full sleeves, which is really nice to have full sleeves. And then for those of you that want to just carry, something smaller, a lot of us are doing this and getting, a little credit card holder with, and I have mine labeled, and I have some bubble wrap insulation at the end. And my darling is an insulation expert. And he said, it's extra air that creates insulation. So there's plenty of air for the top, but not for the sides. And so I have this on both sides, and I have this in my purse. And between this and this, I got my business with me always.
She does.
Always. And isn't that wonderful that we can make it so simple? So, and then when we were in Mexico, I found these cool little round containers that are the exact size for the patches. So if you don't even want to carry something this big and protect the patches, if you put them in metal, they're protected. And so, choose what works for you. That's what we want to say, but make sure you have some patches with you and make sure they're protected. Okay, time for the newsletter.
The old adage, never leave home without it. Okay, tomorrow night. Go ahead, Robin.
We got Dr. Jeff, and several of our team are working with Dr. Jeff. He's actually going to the Philippines, and I know several of you have teams in the Philippines, so reach out, and we need to get everyone connected because there's a lot of you that have teams in the Philippines and people from the Philippines that are in the business. So Dr. Jeff will be with us, and he's just so generous and wise, and always a treat to have him. It's a great call to bring guests. This is an introduction to LifeWave, the technology, a little introduction with David Schmidt. And then we do a few minutes with the doctor, and then it's time for stories and Q&A. So tomorrow night and Thursday, honey, go for it.
And I think in addition to Dr. Jeff, he's actually going with Coach Clarissa and Jocelyn and a few other folks from their family. So it's going to be, I think in about a month or so, they're going to be heading over there. So
He gave me the dates today. Yeah.
Huh?
I got the dates today and the cities.
Cool. So Monday morning miracle call. We got a new
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. I want to jump ahead. Thursday coming up in a couple of days. Please, plug into our Thursday morning business chat. There's always some lively discussion and business training going on there from some of our field leaders. And then our Monday morning call is got to be one of the juiciest calls. It was another incredible call today. Karen O'Neill hosted it, and there was so many wonderful calls. So we now have a new little image for our Monday morning miracle calls there in our newsletter. So I hope you like that. And these are compelling stories, and it's a great place to invite all of your distributors, because this is a business of belief. And when people are brand new, if they don't have a life-altering experience with the product, they need to hear some life-altering experiences from other people, because that's what builds their belief in the product, is hearing stories or having an experience. But not everybody has a very substantial experience with the products, like Robin has had and many of you have had and seen. My experience with the product's been much more subtle, okay, but wonderful. So, the Monday morning miracle call is available for replay on our Facebook group and also in YouTube. So
and I want to give a little plug. I heard someone, and I think it might have been one of our doctors, and it was sometimes the pain that people are having in a very specific area of their body, and using the pain patches on that spot doesn't work. It's because the pain is referring on a meridian to a specific organ that may be the problem.
Or from a specific organ.
From a specific organ. So I learned that on one of the calls, and I'm working with someone in our team who's having a pretty significant challenge, and we're not quite getting it. And so I've connected him with Dr. Walt, and we're going to get that meridian figured out and figure out which organ needs the help, because I think he's going to get relief. And it's wonderful. These are the things you learn as you earn, and earn as you learn. And just listening to those, if you're folding laundry, go to YouTube and listen to that Monday morning call. You will be inspired. for
And
sure.
you know what? It's a major retention tool because the more of those calls your team listens to, the longer they're going to be on your team. And they might just be on your team forever if they listen to enough of them. And, you know, the stories, information tells, stories sell, and it's a wonderful way to start the week. So we talked about the patches, and you can see, you know, it holds numerous sleeves. This is exciting piece of news.
Honey,
We've had
it's fuzzy, it's fuzzy. Oh, there we go.
yeah,
Okay,
it takes a minute to re-register, so it cleared
okay,
up.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, our internet is a little slow here in the Rocky Mountains. Sorry about that. We pay the price for living in paradise. But you can now enroll people from other countries onto our text message system. It costs us as a Live Younger team a little bit more to send to the other countries. You know, for every text we send out, it costs us 1 point, and a point I think costs us 3.5 cents. So for international, it costs us 2 points. So no big deal. But you can now register people, not only Canada and Mexico, but everywhere from Africa to Zimbabwe. So when you click there and the list pops up and you hit country and it scrolls up, it looks like the country list on your LifeWave website. So I'm really excited that we can now be texting people. And thank you, Liz Hodges, for putting that together for us. So now if you live in the USA, you just text Live Younger to 96,000. But if someone lives somewhere else and they want to get the reminders, these reminders are incredibly helpful. We all live very busy lives. We can now send reminders to your team in just about any country where they reside. So really, really excited about that. So corporate LifeWave events in the new section we've got here. This week, there's a new manager training on Wednesday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. and a new director training at 12 p.m. Pacific. Excuse me. Oh, we've got these. Oh,
No, it's correct. It's the same
It is
day.
right. It's 12 p.m. or 7 p.m. Pacific. So there's a new manager training at 11 and a new director at 12. So that's every Wednesday now, there's a corporate training, whether it's LifeWave Connect or the director's training or the new manager training. So
Or the new member training.
or the new member training, right? So and thank you, John, for continuing to encourage people to attend this incredible convention coming up August 18th through 20th. You know, sometimes people say I can't afford to go, and truly you can't afford not to go. And you've probably heard us say this before, and chances are you only need a one-way ticket because you'll be so excited you'll fly home on your own power. You know, so don't miss it. You know, please be there with us. We're going to have lots of fun. We'll be getting there a day early, staying a day later, and look forward to gathering our Live Younger community together while we're there. Personally, the Book of the Month Club, download and listen. I'm really enjoying Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. club. I'm about 40% through the book, and it's written in a parable story way. It's an incredible story. I'm listening to it, and I'm enjoying it so much that I'm really looking forward to implementing it very soon once I finish the book. And there's the new member training, as you said, it's done monthly, available LifeWave Business Builder Group. And so the company's really stepping up.
Let me talk about that for a minute.
Thank you.
If you're a manager or director and you can't make the live training, they will send you a recorded link. If you're a new distributor, they put that on the LifeWave Business Builders Live. And so the link that's here, if you have anyone new in your business, please send them this and give them a really nice orientation from Emily on what the company has available as a new member. And she walks people through some things. I recommend everyone watch that, because if you're building your business, you want to know what your new people are going to watch and hear. So, and you might learn something even. So that's available. And when you go to the back office and click on events, it's a different process. You don't need to register anymore. And there's one link. Yay. I know. Yes.
All right. So a few final things. Good to know. Go ahead, Robin.
Good to know. Well, we just covered it.
That pretty
So-
much covers it.
We
You know,
just covered it, but I get to do the spin.
Well, before you do, let me just mention that in liveyoungersuccess.com is now in Spanish, German, Thai, and English. So it's in 4 languages now, our training website. So we're really excited about that.
Great, great,
So
great.
Robin's going to do the spin now. So I'm
The
gonna
spin.
stop
So,
there.
you know, what you've been hearing from John and from Michael and from me and from Gregory are stories, and they are the lifeblood of our business. And like a good compensation plan, you want to reward the behavior you want more of. So we reward people that share stories, because it's like what Michael said. Had he not heard that story, he wouldn't have been able to share it with someone else and change someone else's life. So please, your stories, share them. Be generous with them, because you never know whose life is going to change. And so when you do share your stories on our Vibrant Living Facebook group, we do a spin, and we have a whole bunch of names to share in our spin today. And so let's see, what did we say is the best way for me to do this?
You
Far-
gotta make sure the sound is close to your keyboard, or pointed towards your keyboard so we can hear it.
Okay, so I should press.
Yeah.
And the winner is Priscilla Everhart, our softball home run hitter. Yay, Priscilla. And if you didn't hear Priscilla's stories, oh my gosh, you gotta go search her out, because she has some great ones, great ones. So thank you, Priscilla, and we'll be sending you a gift. I do have your address, so I don't need to get it. We were blessed to stay at Priscilla's home that she grew up in when we were in Maine. It was an old farmhouse that was amazing, right on a river. Oh my gosh, amazing memory. So that's happening. And honey, there's some questions in the Q&A. Do you want to address them before we complete our
there's-
call?
Well, there's one more thing I wanted to share, then we can address the questions.
Okay.
So let me, down at the bottom of the newsletter in the quick access URLs, I cleaned it up a little bit. I took away a couple that were a little obsolete and highlighted the 2 important ones: Live Younger Success distributor training website, Nitty Gritty Basics product training website. So your new customers go to Nitty Gritty Basics, your new distributors go to both, because they need to learn about the products too, right? But there's also a new URL that we've recently acquired, and that's lifewavehealthyoutube.com. And that's a shortcut to the LifeWave YouTube channel, because it's a little confusing to get there, and you got to weed through some other,
Stuff.
other stuff to get there. So that's a shortcut. So we've cleaned this up, and it's there for you and your team to use. So why don't you go ahead and address the questions that are in there, and then we'll wrap up the call, Robin.
Okay, so the Live Younger, the LifeWave YouTube channel is an amazing resource. So sometimes I just go, if I have a question, I'll just go to YouTube and I'll put in LifeWave and I'll put in whatever the symptoms are. Unfortunately, there's still some disease states in there, and people have found things that way too, but I learned a lot, and it's an amazing resource. So the first one's asking a question about patches. Why don't you ask that one on the call tomorrow night? Luis is saying, does the heat of the sun affect the patches if left in the trunk of the car on a hot day? Well, not a good idea, Luis. What I've been told.
Let me comment on that. Luis, ideally, if you're going to keep in the trunk of your car, especially because you're in Mexico, I get a little cooler and get a little, ice pack, or even without an ice pack, you could just have a cold bottle of juice in there in a cooler, or I'd wrap them up in a blanket or under a blanket so they're not exposed, because the heat of the sun on the trunk of a car will re-radiate down into the trunk. So you want to protect them from that infrared radiation coming off the bottom of the trunk. So just keep them cool. A little cooler in the trunk probably be a good thing if you're going to leave them there for any period of time.
Yeah, that's true. And I was told that 110 degrees for 7 days would hurt the patches. So, you know, it's okay if they've been traveling in a hot truck for a little while, they're going to be fine. Okay, not to worry. And if you're in Arizona, some people like to use the maintenance kits because they just don't want to think about them getting too hot. Okay, and the little metal protectors I found, it's just a little case that's about this big, and you can probably find them in gift stores. We were in Playa del Carmen, Luis, so I don't think they have the same store where you are. But you can look around, and it was like amazing. It was the perfect size. So I can carry this little teeny thing. I'll show it to you next time. I thought it was in my purse. It wasn't. And Ernestine said that she's not been able to use the link to order the business cards. So Ernestine, if you go to the Vistaprint link in the newsletter and you have to create a login, then you should be able to get them just fine. I was just there the other day. I just ordered, I didn't even tell you, honey, I ordered some business cards. But we have a template for Live Younger business cards in the Vistaprint Pro Shop. And we're extending the professional prices on to you. You can get a banner for like freestanding 6-foot banner for 70 some odd dollars. We don't have a lot in there, but there's some helpful things in there. And I think that kind of covers you know, all of the things we were sharing tonight are insulated. And so you can carry them in your pocket, but they're insulated, so your patches will not be activated. The pouch, the big bag is, you know, more for the purse or your man bag. Okay, I think we got, things handled for now. And thank you everyone for being with us this evening. It's wonderful to be together. Next Monday is a holiday, so we will not be having the Monday morning miracle call. So you can watch the YouTube channel if you want to keep being inspired, and we will not be having the Monday evening call. So we'll reconvene on Tuesday.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thanks everyone, and good night, and have a great week. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Tuesday night call with your guests. All right. Bye, everyone.